RedBlue JD.
There's a very simple waterproofing, two-layer waterproofing, and it's just cladded with the local stones. The original design, the cladding was supposed to be broken ceramic tiles on tones of green. And the idea was to mimic sort of the tea plantations in Rwanda. And at the end we went with this more local, simpler technique of small broken stones. So the idea is that actually the program is embedded in the landscape. It's hidden down. So the building is split in 3 levels. The first level is the restaurant, followed by the changing rooms for the players and the umpires, which is the cricket referee. And then, as Eric said, the third one is an office space which is going to be used for like a small clinic for the neighborhood, for doing HIV conscientization and testings. And then on the upper floors you've got the 2 mezzanines. The first one is a bar, and then the second one is the players' clubhouse. So all the materials used is stone, compressed earth tiles, and a bit of brick to do the partitioning and substrates. So trying to use as much as possible local materials, locally sourced. And a big part of it was the actual production of all the tiles. They were all produced on site. So actually the first 2 months on the site, on the shed that you can see over there, it was actually 2 months of production of these tiles. And the same masons that were producing the tiles were then the masons that then were trained in this technology to then build the whole structure. So we brought a guy from New Zealand who has already built similar structures. He was involved in a similar project by Peter Rich in South Africa, Mapungubwe. And it's very unique, but the 3 vaults were built in only 10 weeks, from start to finish. So it's very labor intensive, but can be very quick once everything is set up. We're about 50 masons in total working on it, with a big percentage of them actually employed from Gahanga, combined with some masons, trained masons of Rocco. Rocco was the company that built this. Then the tile itself, it's basically a mix of earth, clay, sand, and a bit of crushed stone, and a little bit of cement, all mixed, and using a hydraulic press to compress it. So there's about 60,000 tiles to build the whole structure, and they were producing about 1,000 tiles per day during the manufacturing phase.
Yeah, one machine was 1,000 tiles?
Yeah.
So we have been producing 2,000 tiles a day.
Yeah, with the 2 machines, 2,000 tiles, yeah. Yeah, maybe we can walk around, and then I would vaults were built maybe closer to the building. Should we walk down to the ground?
Go.
Yeah, so from here you can clearly see the shape of the three bouncing ball parabolas. 16 meters, 12 meters, and 8 meters, and you can see the thickness of the layers starting from 6, 4, and 3. The different levels. So the way this is built, you start by building the arches first with a plywood formwork. So they build the shape of the parabola out of a very simple arc in 2D out of plywood. So that's the first step. So that's basically generated from a computer model. This is all been calculated with a plugin of Rhino, like an advanced plugin that actually calculates these shapes. So the structure is actually being calculated to be seismic resistant, so it can withstand an earthquake. So the way this is done is that within the first layer and the last layer, they insert geotextile that actually goes into the foundations and ties the whole structure to the ground. So in the two directions on the main arches, you have the geotextile embedded down into the foundations. And then on the outer arches, they also have some extra reinforcement. But it's not actually steel reinforcement, it's just a textile that basically holds the whole thing together. So in case there's an earthquake, it holds the whole shell together and ties it to the foundations. So once they build the first arcs on the outside, then there's a simple formwork, guide work, that doesn't hold the structure itself, it just gives the geometry that the masons need to follow. So they start with the outer arcs, and then slowly they build from the corners upwards with the first layer. So the trick is actually in the first layer, they don't use mortar, you use a very quick plaster that basically you can tile two tiles together, and in a matter of seconds it holds it in place. So then you can come and place the next tile. So actually the structure flies in the air and doesn't touch the guide work. That's the secret behind the structure and how you can actually achieve this without building a full formwork for the whole structure. And it allows you to, and then once the first one is settled and it's dry, you come with a second layer, and then you basically slowly build to the apex of the structure. Yeah, I think this is about it in terms of the sequence. When we go closer, you will be able to see the actual layers. We intentionally left the layers exposed, so you can actually come and see and get a sense of how it's been built.
The thing is waterproofing?
Yeah, and then the waterproofing is a simple membrane, just 2 layers in 2 different directions to basically guarantee that there's no, like even if it's in the first layer, it will not go through the second because it's in different directions. And then the final covering is a simple 50mm screed with some stones embedded within it. Yeah, so this actually the ground, the breaking ground was, they started the foundations in beginning of July, and the finished, like the inaugurations was in end of October. So
October 28th.
Yeah, so 6 months, very quick. very labor intensive. I think that at some point I had about 100 people working on it.
Yeah.
But 50 of them were actually the masons building the vaults. This had to be built in the dry season, like most of it. The structure was, because obviously rain can be a problem when you're doing an earth structure. So fortunately they managed to beat the rains. Some occasional rains, but we covered the whole thing with a big plastic sheet during those times. And then, yeah, just conceptually you can see that the main programs are embedded in the ground with just like this sort of these simple horizontal lines of the mezzanines, where on the top left will be the bar. They still need to put the roof in there. They had a provisional roof for the opening. Now they have a more permanent one. And then in the second one you can see it's also still under construction. That's the players' clubhouse, where they can store their laptops or some of the equipment. Probably there will be some books and some space for the teams to meet and brief before the match, after the match. And then below, you can see at the back there, the kitchen. The bathrooms are hidden under the base of the first vault. And then in the middle here is the changing room. So on the left you have one team, on the right you have another team. And then, yeah, the small office at the bottom there, the small vault.
Yeah, this is it. So this was opened officially on 28th by His Excellency Paul Kagame. Then we had around 1,500 people. The stadium was full of people, and personally on our side we played a celebrity match here, where there was cricket star. Maybe some of you don't know them, but there were Michael Vaughan was here. There were Sam Billings, there were Asho Gibbs, but it's like saying maybe Maradona, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Here in Rwanda, we really have a good time at the opening ceremony. And seeing scaffold still on, it's because after the opening ceremony, the technical team came in and there are some snags that they're just repairing. So, but everything was really completed, and that's the reason why on the box of the bar there's no roof. It was removed because there's some snags that they're really now changing or correcting some mistakes. Yeah, that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about a roof. Is it the one supposed to protect the pavilion from rain? Rain blowing into the pavilion, that is.
No, the idea is that it's an open structure. Normally you don't play cricket if it rains. It's like they do play with like drizzling, but not if like strong rains. Normally you don't play. So there was no need to having an enclosed structure with this perfect climate. I actually need to talk about also the orientation of the building. So actually it's almost direct north. So you're maximizing the amount of shadow inside. So when you're actually under the vaults, you're basically, no matter what time they play the match, you are in shadow. Obviously except like the very low sun when it's setting. And it also has a reason, it's not directly behind the line of play, because actually that disturbs the players when they play, so it's slightly offset. And actually that also gives a better diagonal view of the game. And when you're up there, you will be able to see that you actually see down to the Nyamarongo River, yeah, down in the valley. Yeah, so there was a whole solar modeling that we tested the building to actually orient it in the right position, so you're maximizing shadow. But that's all you need. You need protection from sun mainly. And if it rains, if it drizzles, it's okay. If it's strong rain, you actually don't play. So the concept, yeah, was to basically have no glass in the whole project. So even in the changing rooms, it's just hidden mist bricks. To basically not import try to not import any material for the project and use everything locally available.
And the loaf that we talked about was the loaf for the bar. Look at
yes.
the box. on top.
It's just that
That's just
small roof where there's 10 square meters of the bar and the little office for the changing.
And maybe for Eric, I don't know if I know that when you're playing there and you hit a 6, the ball has to fly out of you. Do you get that ball back? I mean, it looks like if you hit a
this
6.
is an international standard, but with our eyes it looks small, but it's really big. So at the moment, it's quite few people that has managed to hit a 6.
You're one of them?
Yeah, but mine was on the mound. So when some buildings are there, those international players, they try to hit the ball outside the fence. But yeah, we collected the balls. It happened even in other countries sometimes when like.
Actually, the kids around the community are all welcome to come in and play. You could see them before, they're just rolling down the hill. It's open to the community and they all know about the game and they're actually very engaged with it. Some of them already want to learn how to play the game. They've been practicing up. There's some practice nets on the top there. So yeah, if a ball comes out, they will bring it back. I mean, so far no ball's been lost.
This guy come here, we can throw it there, even to the market.
Did you speak already about the irrigation system?
Oh yes. So the plan for probably the next phase, it's not installed yet. There's a plan to basically collect all the water from the pitch and the roof of the building. So there will be a collection point at the bottom of the site, near where the bananas are, just there. So there will be a holding tank that collects all the water from the surface of the grass and from the roofs. And then there's going to be another holding tank near the maintenance store, and then it all gets pumped up. You will be able to see. We're going to walk up there. We have I think 12.
We have 12 tanks of 10,000 litre, which
Yeah.
is 120,000 litre that we use for irrigation.
Yeah.
We wanted to, but as I told you, the way you get money is through fundraising. So we have put that into phases. That's phase 3. So the all water, the lowest point is down there to the banana. So all water has to be collected down there. But because it's just in phase 3, we don't have. We'll put another ground tank there. Then we'll put a pump to pump back the water in the tank.
So at the moment the water just flows out.
Yeah.
At the moment, all the water, the slope, all sloping to the edge, the boundary, and then flows to those banana. Then that's the idea of planting banana there, because instead of wasting that place, because the water has been going there, we decided to plant banana and
So it grows, yeah.
it's really growing well. Yeah, and we planted
Yeah,
grass
like
there.
2 months, boom.
There's no flooding on that side due to the banana.
Yeah, because I can imagine how costly it would be to pay for the water to irrigate this place.
It's really expensive because every month I receive a bill from WASAC of 2.2 million Rwandan francs just for water.
Yeah.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, we did that cost.
The grass,
yeah.
this is the Bermuda grass, Sinodon, and it's really very good grass because it has a long roots and it resists to the heat, the sun.
Locally available?
No, because at the moment Amaro Stadium, do you know Amaro Stadium? In Amaro Stadium we have Kikuyu grass, that's the Kikuyu, and consider to this grass, this is Bermuda is like somehow like here, Bermuda grass here, and then pasparums down there. So this is better than what you have in our national stadium. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we actually did a cost-benefit analysis for the irrigation for the tanks. As you said, they pay so much money every month to irrigate. So once they will install the system, they will save a lot of money down the line, but it's also like a sustainable way to actually deal and not rely on municipal water, but just rely on rainwater.
Well, the only option we had was municipal water supply. Because
Yeah.
from the beginning, we tried for like 5 trial holes around here, like 100 meter down. There's no water here at Gahanga. Then the second option was pumping the water from the river Nyabarongo to
Have
here.
a pump
That's
down there in the
very
river.
expensive. Then one option was using municipal water supply.
Yeah.
That's what we have used.
To move the
So
plots
in
down.
phase 3, we have to look on how we can at least harvest water, the rain
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
That's it.
But is the pipe work already?
The pipe, everything,
It's
is
laid
done.
down.
Everything is in, and it's connected to the pump house. We have a pump there. Everything is connected.
Yeah, it's very
and we don't have
expensive
a
to
pump.
build underground tanks. It's not cheap. So they had a very limited budget. The budget was super tight for this phase. Yeah, so that's why they decided to just pay the bills for now and have it later on.
In phase 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. A good start here. But to understand the structural details of this stadium is really difficult for me. I don't know how you are going to help us to see, like, for example, pictures of the construction stages
Yeah,
to understand more. Because you are saying about the ties, I
yeah.
don't know if it's all the ties are of that size. And you have said there is the one that enters the ground that holds the whole weight of the structure.
Yeah, I will send a series of slides with
So
the
you come to present them.
So leaf tiles, we have a factory down there, up there. So we would reach there and then I will show you
We'll see how
machine
they make the tiles.
and how we made the tiles.
Well, maybe if we go closer, you can see.
yeah.
Yeah, but let's walk it.
Yeah,
There's
so
no
if you
question
are more
about the
advanced
grass.
about the structure, it's better
But
to
let's
have
pass here. Man.
Agaruka nyine n'idusoza byose nanjye ngira mu ndende cyangwa se wamusura
Christopher Shaw is someone from England just come in Rwanda. He was in conservative party. Then coming to the Kiplo ground, seeing how the game is helping people.
Speriamo che duri un po' questa
Love
erba,
Rwanda.
perché io il golf si sta già pasparosto.
Dream became a reality. Then his son, Abisho, took over and opened a charity NGO with some of the Rwandan and the UK members. And then we started raising money from that, and then after that we say, oh, let's put Christopher Shaw, because he had the vision before, even though he died before. Anton, is there a way or we? Yeah, we can, yeah. Okay. I have the Nagari stuff for the branch.
nisi kwa hiyo ni huu mkuu abageza kuri wa mfungwa w'abacuruzi
Ani tuzaheba nawe tugafata. Tuzaheba utagafata nawe.
Ndumva genda ugurije isambu ya mama wawe
This way?
There's two ways.
RedBlue JD.